Well, with that, there is some big breaking news which is coming in here on Times Now. Well, this regarding Nair being non-cooperative during his questioning. That's the big story that we are getting for you. Remember, this regarding the Liqourgate scam. What we are picking up right now is that the ED has tightened the noose on all the aides, alleged aides of Aam Aadmi Party's top netas. The ED charge sheet has been accessed here on Times Now. In fact, the close aide of Manish Sisodia also has been named in it. What we are picking up right now is that when it comes to the question of Kejriwal on the question of using excise policy money in Goa in the ED's charge sheet as well. Let me go across to Aishwarya, who's joining us with all the details on this. Aishwarya, Times Now's managed to access the Enforcement Directorate's charge sheet, and it seems that it is tightening the noose around the alleged aides of some of the topmost leaders of the Aam Aadmi Party. But what's interesting, apparently they are being evasive about it.
Well, that's right. Arvind Kejriwal commenting on the charge sheet that has been filed by the police. Clearly, Arvind Kejriwal on his stand is saying that, again, the government is using the Enforcement Directorate and the amount of money that has come out, in the charge sheet. He attacked the government and also stated that it is to use and to buy and sell the MLAs in different states, and that's what has been done in Goa as well. So clearly now, Arvind Kejriwal and Aam Aadmi Party making the stand very clear, as they were, they were stating before as well, that all the agencies have been indirectly being used by the government, and they do not believe in any substantial evidence, as the charge sheet does not have any potential proof against them. That's what Arvind Kejriwal has stated.
And it's very interesting, and I'm going to quote Arvind Kejriwal here. He has said the Enforcement Directorate must have filed about 5,000 cases. Enforcement Directorate is meant to topple the government and buy and sell MLAs of the opposition, he implies. He also goes on to say Enforcement Directorate's charge sheet is complete fiction. But Aishwarya, here's the problem. He's given a complete political spin to it, not really substantiating and giving a point-by-point rebuttal, but saying that essentially the Enforcement Directorate is being used for witch hunt of the opposition.
Well, that's right. And whenever being asked about the excise policy scam in Delhi by Arvind Kejriwal, he had time and again attacked the government and said that the agencies which are investigating in the excise policy are being used by the government to for the political vendetta. And he also later went on to state that the ED had filed almost 5,000 cases, to which the charge sheet is completely fictional. Earlier as well, remember, it was Arvind Kejriwal who came out and said that there was no substantial evidence that was found by the Enforcement Directorate.
In fact, do stay on with us. BJP's Manjirder Singh Sirsa is also joining us. Shehzad Poonawala is also joining us, the national spokesperson. Mr. Sirsa, how would you like to respond to what Arvind Kejriwal has said, saying that Enforcement Directorate's charge sheet is complete fiction and its whole purpose is to topple the government and to buy and sell opposition MLAs?
See, that's what they said when a charge sheet was filed against Satyendar Jain. They said it's fictitious, but now after almost 6 months, Satyendar Jain is still in Tihar jail because the charge sheet was also as per the law, and no judiciary is able to give them a bail because he's in hawala transactions. As far as this case is concerned, Arvind Kejriwal has never came out and said the very simple, answered the simple questions. Why the commission from 2% to 12% was increased for wholesalers? Why the business of wholesale was given without any auction on a nomination basis? Why the government has lost almost more than 5,000 crore rupees? At the same time, the private entities has made more than 6,000 crore rupees. Why is it so that when government was losing up money in that financial year, the private entities sell twice the liquor which was sold last year? Why is it so? But in spite of all these things, he is not able to answer any of the questions. And everybody knew that they have took out this money for elections. They have used this money for their own purposes and gain. And lastly, if you remember, I have quoted all these things in my initial complaint, which I given to CBI and ND, where I mentioned categorically that this Mr. Nair, Vijay Nair, he is the main kingpin. He is the one who collected the money. He is the one who transferred the money. And now Vijay Nair has already himself admitted during the investigation that 70 lakh rupees was paid to the private entities. And where did you got this heavy cash from? It is a liquor money. It's a liquor scam money collected by Aam Aadmi Party.
But Mr. Sirsa, the biggest challenge, of course, for the Enforcement Directorate still is to ensure that they can draw this linkage directly from Vijay Nair, who is one of the accused, to the top leadership of the AAP, where the allegations have been made. Do they have enough to prove that?
The linkage is very clear. If somebody is so powerful that is staying in a ministerial bungalow allotted to a minister, Vijay Nair is so powerful person that people need to answer that what was the compulsion to put Vijay Nair in a government bungalow? In what capacity he was enjoying the government bungalow? And if it is so, and it is not without the consent of Arvind Kejriwal and Manish Sisodia, and if it is so, then they cannot say that the money which Arvind Kejriwal, this Vijay Nair collected, it is without the consent of Arvind Kejriwal and Manish Sisodia.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Manjirder Singh Sirsa. You are saying, of course, that there is very clear linkage. Of course, all of this needs to be proved in a court of law by the Enforcement Directorate. We'll wait and see how this case pans out. Meanwhile, the Chief Minister of Delhi and also the Aam Aadmi Party convener Arvind Kejriwal has said that this is essentially fiction. The entire Enforcement Directorate charge sheet is nothing short of fiction. Listen in.
केवल सरकारें गिराने और सरकारें बनाने के लिए इस्तेमाल किए जाते हैं। ईडी के केसेस, ईडी जो है भ्रष्टाचार खत्म करने के लिए थोड़ी केस करती है। ईडी तो केवल एमएलए, इन लोगों की सरकारों को एमएलए खरीदने के लिए, एमएलए तोड़ने के लिए, सरकारें बनाने के लिए, सरकारें गिराने के लिए इस्तेमाल किया जाता है। तो ईडी की चार्जशीट एक कोरा फिक्शन है।
A quick word from Aishwarya as well. Aishwarya, more than the Enforcement Directorate's case, even while that is happening, parallelly we now see a political massive storm also which is brewing. How do we see this happening over the next couple of days? Do we expect the Enforcement Directorate to step up the heat on Aam Aadmi Party netas, not just their aides?
Well, that's the same old line that the Aam Aadmi Party has taken, and Arvind Kejriwal clearly commenting on the ED charge sheet had stated that it is a political vendetta. The government is using Enforcement Directorate to buy and sell the MLAs, and that's what has been done this time as well as far as excise policy is concerned. Remember, Arvind Kejriwal had been questioned on the excise policy time and again, and he has said that whenever ED and CBI had gone to collect several documents and had raided Manish Sisodia and the other close aides of Arvind Kejriwal, nothing has been substantially found out by CBI, and therefore they have no proof. But now when the charge sheet has come out and it has substantial proof, and Vijay Nair's name has come forward, the opposition party in Delhi, BJP, clearly asking the questions that on what grounds several amount of money was transferred and on what grounds the official government bungalow
Well,
has
the
been
charge
given
sheet, of course, is damning. But again, it's important for us to point out that these charges need to be proved in a court of law. That's where the entire case itself is going to be probed, and rather the validity of what is being presented as the charges and the proof is going to be tested finally. But meanwhile, listen in to Arvind Kejriwal yet again dismissing the entire charge sheet.
केवल सरकारें गिराने और सरकारें बनाने के लिए इस्तेमाल किए जाते हैं। ईडी के केसेस, ईडी जो है भ्रष्टाचार खत्म करने के लिए थोड़ी केस करती है। ईडी तो केवल एमएलए, इन लोगों की सरकारों को एमएलए खरीदने के लिए, एमएलए तोड़ने के लिए, सरकारें बनाने के लिए, सरकारें गिराने के लिए इस्तेमाल किया जाता है। तो ईडी की चार्जशीट एक कोरा फिक्शन है।
ED की charge sheet पूरा fiction है. Well, that's of course the Enforcement Directorate's charge sheet's reaction coming in from the Chief Minister himself. With that, we're going to be slipping into a short break. Don't go anywhere.